What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos, and today I'm going to be showing you this very strange yellow deck that I piloted over the weekend. I was able to finish 3-1 at locals. I ended up dropping round 3 to Mark. He was playing Beelstarmon, and that was just a really tough matchup for me because he kept clearing my board. I couldn't really establish anything. But my matchups were round 1 against Armor Rush, round 2 against Armor Rush, round 3 against Beelstar, and round 4 against Imperial. I ended up going 3-1. Quick shout out to my friend Kevin, my boy. He was the one who initially gave me the inspiration to play this deck. Let's get right into it. So I'm playing 4 babies, or 4 eggs. Playing 4 BBmon. I don't think the egg really matters. You could play Freemons from set 8 or BT8. That extra 1000 DP on a rookie does help. If you're playing against Rush, you could swing over their VMons and not have to worry about getting cracked back. I like BBmon because it does give you that extra memory if you're attacking with 3 security. But I really don't think that the egg matters. I really think you can play whatever baby you want. It really comes just down to preference, in my opinion. But I prefer gaining memory over being able to attack over, rookies, because there's a whole bunch of ways of dealing with cards in this deck. So for the rookie count, we're playing 4 Pulsemon. This is your main Digivolve target in Raising, because he has a very nice inheritable. When you have 3 security and you're attacking, you have jamming for the turn, so that is really nice. It didn't come up very much in the tournament, but it was just nice being able to sit on this. If you play him, you can put yourself down to 3 security. I never did that. This is just my main Digivolution target in Raising, just because I wanted to get the inheritable off in the game if I was able to, stabilize with 3 security. So I just play 4 of him. I play 4 Armadillomon. This is from BT8. Just essentially your searchers, look at top 4 for a multicolor card or a multicolor yellow card and add it to your hand. He's not too bad. He's your second best rookie in the deck. Pulsemon is just there for Digivolution, but these are the guys you want to dig with to get to your pieces, which you'll see later on in the profile what I'm talking about. And then the best rookie in the deck, in my opinion, is Kotemon. Shout out to Kevin. This is definitely straight up from him. We tested a couple of games last week, and he's playing a similar deck. It's a little different, but he was playing a similar deck, and this was one of the main engine pieces in the deck. Basically, he's another tutor. He's a search for a top 5 for a warrior or holy warrior. You could add 2 of them to your hand, and why that's relevant, we'll get into it. But I'm just playing the 12 rookies, and like I said, the main Digivolution target in Raising is going to be Pulsemon, and then you're going to want to play out your Armadillomons and your Kotemon so you can search. For our champions, we're playing 4 Gladimon. This guy's really nice. I was able to choke my opponent a lot. Like if I had a Tamer set up and I started at 3, if it was early enough in the game, I could just hard cast this guy for 4 and choke my opponent to 1. And then he has a really nice effect where he'd be able to check your security stack for a warrior or a holy warrior, add it to your hand, and then recover, and then trigger recover once. So if you're playing early in the game, you can go ahead and look to see what's in your security. Even if you don't hit a warrior or holy warrior, having that knowledge and being able to reshuffle your security stack is really nice, because you'll kind of know what your opponent's going to attack into, which will kind of set you up for when you want to trigger your recoveries and stuff like that. So I'm playing 4 of him. And then we're playing 4 Angemon. This card is a lot better than I thought it was initially. It's a 3-cost Digivolve. For a champion, which is a little expensive, but he could Digivolve over a blue or yellow Digimon. That's not relevant. He is a blue or yellow, so he is searchable with Armadillomon, but his effect is really nice. If you have 3 or less security and he was to Digivolve, you can recover 1 on Digivolution. So there was a nifty little combo in this deck, which I'll get into at the end of the profile, just to kind of let you know what the thought process behind it was. But he is really nice. And then also, if the inheritable is if you are attacking with 3 or more security, you can bounce back one of their rookies to their hand if they were able to leave it out. This came up against Armor Rush a little bit, not too much, but the 6k DP on the champion is not bad, but he's mainly in here for his multicolor and his recovery skill. And then the best card in the deck, which is the only reason this deck was even playable was because I was playing 4 Rapidmon. Now, what I mentioned before about Kotemon and Gladiemon just being really good cards, Rapidmon is a Holy Warrior, so he is a search target off of Kotemon's top 5 and Gladimon's security check. So just being able to add multiples of this guy to your hand so you can just kind of sit on it and play it when it's like optimal is disgusting. Armadillomon searches this, Kotemon searches this, Gladiemon can search this in security, and Kotemon can add 2 if you were to hit 2 off of your top 5, so that's really nice. We do play a couple other search cards in the deck, but this right now is this is what makes kind of like these bad yellow decks playable. Like Rapidmon is just disgusting. He's just really good. He was the MVP. He was the best card in the deck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you were to take this card out, the deck wouldn't function. And then the last champion I play is one Kazemon. Basically, it's just hybrid for game. This is the only hybrid I'm playing. I don't have Sylphimons. I don't have Jet Sylphies. I only have 1 copy of Kazemon. So I was just playing it as my 50th card, to have, hybrid for game if it ever came up. That's the only reason it was in there is because it's the 50th card, but I can see why yellow hybrid is as good as it is. One of my favorite cards in the deck was Shikuamon. We're playing 4 Shikuamon. Basically, the main combo in this deck, okay? This deck has 2 different playstyles. You want to try to control your opponent's board, but you also want to keep an eye on your security so that you know when to recover. So going down to 3 security in this deck is fine because it does trigger the inheritables of the Pulsemons, and it does allow you to maximize your Angemons. So basically what happens is the nice combo in this deck is if you're able to get 2 Angemons out and you have 3 security, you can DNA both of the Angemons and you can heal 3 times. Because you're at 3 security, Angemon checks as being digivolved while you have 3 security. So they both check, they heal 2, and then your Shikuamon heals 1. So you're drawing 1 card and you're healing 3, which is going to put you back up to 5 or 6 security. And then Shikuamon, when he's DNA digivolved, you can return one of your opponent's Digimon to their hand equal to or less than your security stack. So if you're able to do the full combo where you go and you check and you security, you heal all the way up to 6, you can bounce back their megas. But if you're just able to do 5, it is what it is. But Shikuamon is really good. And then him in combination with the Angemons just gets you a lot of healing. He also reduces DP when he as an inheritable. So basically, if you were to have Ophanimon fall down mode on top of your Shikuamon, when you attack, you can choose one of your opponent's Digimon and reduce its DP by 3k. So I never really resolved Ophanimon, maybe once, I think, in the entire tournament with that combination with Shikuamon. But again, this is another recovery card. If you have the memory to do so, because DNA Digivolve is free, you can go ahead and swing twice with your Angemon. Hopefully they don't die. I mean, most of the time you're not going to do that because you don't want to run the risk of them dying. But if you have the Pulsemon as a Digivolution source on your Angemon and you have 3 security, they have jamming. So you can kind of be a little more risky with those swings and just kind of, control your opponent's security that way as well. But the nut combo in this deck is having the 2 Angemons out on the board with jamming, swinging twice, DNA for free, recover 3, and then boom, for 4 you play Ophanimon to recover another, and you just kind of reset the game. It's a lot harder for your opponent to deal with all those multiple checks that they'll have to do again in the mid stages of the game because they want to try to get you down as quickly as possible. So that's why I kind of built this, because I felt like it was able to control the board very well with Rapidmon. But then if you didn't get your pieces that you needed to be aggressive, you can kind of recover with Angemon and Shikuamon. So that's the monster count. Onto the Tamers. We're playing 4 Kari. It doesn't really matter. It's a memory tamer. The added effect of suspending to gain a memory when you add a card to your security does come up. So if you have multiple Karis out on the board, you could resolve them multiple times and gain multiple memories. So this is not one of those decks where you just want to play one and that's it. You want to play as many Karis as possible because Rapidmon directly interacts with how many Tamers you have on board. So we're just playing 4 Kari and we're playing 4 Codys. Cody is gross. Like, he's so good. His stack ability with gaining memory, as long as you control a yellow source or a yellow Digimon, you'll gain a memory at the start of your main phase. So this is after promoting from raising. If you have multiple Kodis, you can obviously gain up to 4 memory. If you have a Kari out, you start at 3 and you go to 7. It's just a lot of memory. And then when one of your dual color Digimon attacks, you can suspend this to give something minus 2,000. So Rapidmon with Cody is just gross because you can clear boards essentially just by swinging with Rapidmon to security. Rapidmon will give minus 5,000 to the board, and then this is another minus 8. So there's not a lot that's going to be able to kind of deal with that. It just kind of deletes stuff. It gets around Armor Purge, which is nice. And again, Rapidmon having Armor Purge himself, there really is no risk of crashing him into security because you'll be able to Armor Purge, keep your rookie, and then go on and Digivolve on top of that rookie for future plays. So we're playing 8 Tamers in total. I really don't have any other yellow Tamers. You can make the argument to play more, especially Zoe's, because she searches for hybrids, but we don't really have that many hybrids in the deck. So that's really it for the Tamers. On to options. I'm playing 2 yellow memory boost. I love memory boost cards. I think they're just really good. There are a lot of memory chokers in the format, you know, with your Betamons and your Gazimons, and there's just a lot of memory chokers, but when you're playing decks that have ways of answering them with either DP reduction or suspension, that's totally fine because you could just sequence properly to get rid of the memory choker before you trigger the delay on the memory boost. But this is another way of searching your Rapidmons. This is another way of searching Shakuamon. There's just a lot of different targets in this deck. And 3, memory is not very expensive, especially when you're starting every turn at 3 or 4 memory. It's also really nice to be able to choke your opponent. I can't stress enough how important it is to choke your opponent. And when you're at weird like memory totals, like 2 memory or 1 memory, it's nice to have cards that you can just kind of choke them. You never want to give Imperial Dramon 3 memory to start their turn because if they have the cards in the hand, they'll just go full combo off you with 3 memory. So during my matchup with Imperial Dramon, I just usually choked him to like 1 or 2. Shout out to Hakan, he's a great player. We had a really good match. It's just really tough to recover from that. So I like that yellow memory boost. And then these 4 cards here of 2 Disaster Blasters and 2 Plasma Shots. These are just more like shenanigans and security and like DP reduction in hand. I didn't really like Plasma Shot too much because I'm not playing enough armors to capitalize on its secondary effect. So this could just essentially be 4 Disaster Blasters. This card, in combination with Rapidmon and Cody, just put in so much work. Rapidmon negs you 5. This can neg another 6, so that's an 11k. And then Cody could just neg the rest. So you can kill, 15k Digimon if you really needed to, especially after suspension with Rapidmon. So even if they have like big blockers like Black War Greymon, you could just delete them by, negging their DP. And it just kind of spirals out of control from there. So I didn't come across any Black War Greymon, thank God, because that's probably my worst matchup, just because of the fact that he could delete all my Tamers. But for the most part, in this specific build, I would probably prefer Disaster Blaster over Plasma Shot, because I don't have enough armors to trigger the secondary effect. So that's just my opinion, but they both did essentially the same thing. I like also Disaster Blaster because it's 1 less memory. And then definitely the MVP of the deck that's not a Digimon was Holy Flame. This card is just kind of disgusting. Being able to check this off security and just essentially stop your opponent. You take the initial check and then whatever other Digimon they have on board to swing, you just kind of say no, you can't hit me, and then you just kind of survive from there on out. It's also a really efficient memory card, being only 2 cost. You can choke your opponent again. Like if you're at weird totals like 1, you can just choke them to 1 and then give their board -3 security for one of their Digimon, and then just kind of have to play around it. The whole theme behind this deck is to control your opponent's board. That way they don't put multiple attackers out and be able to kill you. So this just kind of helps you mitigate all that damage. This almost saved me in my round 3 against Beelstar, but I got rushed down by, I think it's like Ginkakumon Promote, I think that's his name, I'm not really sure, but it's just essentially the purple level 4 that has Rush. I just got rushed down by him, so I couldn't really do much. This almost saved me, but almost doesn't count. But shout out to Mark, he's a great player. Yeah, I mean, you could probably cut 1 if you want to tech in something else. I mean, I think 4 is fine. It's not really a dead card because it's not too expensive, and checking it off of memory is nice. You also have to remember this deck recovers a lot, so even if you're running multiples in your deck and they just kind of get, recovered into security, that's also really fine. And then we're playing our last card. We're playing Reinforcing Memory Boost. This never came up. I only saw this card once, and it was against Imperial Dramon. I was tempted to play it, but I didn't want to give them too much memory, even though this does essentially get you a recover trigger and a draw. Essentially, you get 2 cards out of it, but I didn't want to give Imperial Dramon that much memory, just because that deck scares me and how quickly you just go off. So I just held it and played a rookie instead and choked them to like 1 or 2. But this card is really good. I mean, recovering one, you look at 2, you recover 1, you get 1 to hand, and then you can delay for 3 memory. It's just disgusting. This deck already gains enough memory as it is every turn, so it's just really nice. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Changes I'd make? Yeah, I'd try to add more hybrids into it. There's a Patamon from, I want to say, like, the first set. Not BT1, but, like, the first set that we got, like, set 1.0. There's a Patamon that looks at top 4 and adds all the Tamers to your hand. I'm considering about maybe adding that, but that would be, I wouldn't take any rookies out, so I'd have to see how I would do that. Pulsemon is pretty niche. I mean, you only want to Digivolve him in Raising, but gaining that jamming off of the Inheritable is really nice. I guess you could make the argument of taking Pulsemon out for the Patamons, because Patamon just does more because it digs, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't really plan on playing this deck for much longer. EX02 is right around the corner. I'm definitely going to be dabbling with some of those decks, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I would call this just like Rapidmon Control. I don't even, like, it's not Yellow Hybrid because I'm not playing like the standard hybrid package, but it's just Rapidmon. Like, this deck without Rapidmon would not function. So if there's anything that you take away from this video, is that Rapidmon is disgusting. This guy is just really too good. He's just such a good card. Like, it's kind of gross how good he is. But like I said, I had to make this last minute because my daughter wanted to play Armor Rush, and that's the deck I normally play. So I just got lucky being able to I guess pilot it pretty decently. You know, 3-1's not that bad. But again, shout out to Kevin for giving me the inspiration. Shout out to the Gamers Edge for having a really solid Digimon community. I really do appreciate all the guys over there. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.